and welcome. You're watching the Verdict 2017, our election special bulletin. Of course, while campaigning for the remaining two phases in Uttar Pradesh as well as for Manipur has now picked up. We'll get you all the details on that and much more in this bulletin. Let's start with the headlines. High voltage campaigning for remaining two phases in Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister to hold two rallies. Akhilesh Yadav 7, Mayawati 1. Rahul's rally in Kushinagar. BJP urges Election Commission to probe alleged deletion of valid votes from electoral rolls in Uttar Pradesh. Asks poll panel to prosecute those responsible. An economic blockade casts a shadow over upcoming polls in Manipur. Majority Meitei community says that it should have been consulted on decision to create new districts. While campaigning is on in full swing for the remaining two phases of elections in Uttar Pradesh to be held on 4th and 8th of March, while today Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address two rallies in Maharajganj and Deoria that vote in the 6th phase. Well, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav continues with his string of rallies, with the 7 of them slated in Deoria and Mau that vote in the penultimate phase. Now, BSP Chief Mayawati's rally is slated in Sonbhadra. Well, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi will also be campaigning today. He will be addressing a rally in Kushinagar that votes in the 6th phase of polling on 4th of March. Now, Congress's Ghulam Nabi Azad will also address a rally in Gorakhpur, while Raj Babbar and Pramod Tiwari will address rallies in Maharajganj and Gorakhpur. All right, my colleague Shyam Sundar is joining us live from Azamgarh now. A very good afternoon, Shyam. Now, BJP really adding momentum to its campaigning in eastern Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressing two rallies today in Maharajganj and Deoria today. And speaking about these two districts, of course, Deoria seat was added to BJP's fold in 2012, but Maharajganj is one of the traditional seats of the Samajwadi Party.
Well, you are right, Aishwarya. As far as BJP is concerned, this phase is very, very crucial. In fact, both of the last phase are very, very crucial for BJP as well as for Samajwadi Party also. If you look back at 2012, areas like Azamgarh, in Azamgarh district, out of 10 seats, 9 seats was won by Samajwadi Party, and now in this election there is a effort from Bharatiya Janata Party that there is a triangular fight, and BJP can gain some ground in these areas. And I am present in Azamgarh's Shibli College, and I have few students with me. Let us talk to them about the issues here in Azamgarh and other constituencies, because these students come from different areas of Azamgarh and different districts of Uttar Pradesh, which are going to poll in these two phases. Let's talk to them. अच्छा, अपना नाम मुझे बता दीजिए।
जी, मैं नासिर खान।
नासिर खान साहब, ये बताइए कि चुनाव होने वाला है 4 मार्च को यहाँ। जी, आपसे मैं बात करूँ तो क्या मुद्दे हैं, और चुनाव प्रचार को जो अलग अलग पार्टियां कर रही हैं उसको कैसे देखते हैं आप?
मैं सबसे पहले तो चारों पार्टी के जो भी प्रदेश अध्यक्ष हैं, अध्यक्ष हैं, उन लोगों से मैं ये रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति ना करें। जात के आधार पे, धर्म के आधार पे यहाँ वोट मांगे जाते हैं, तो इस चीज को खत्म कर दिया जाए।
और आपके लिए क्या मुद्दे हैं?
मेरे लिए मुद्दे यही है कि मैं आजमगढ़ का हूँ, मुलायम सिंह यादव यहाँ के सांसद हैं और काफी विकास उन्होंने किया है, और अखिलेश यादव की भी सरकार में अच्छा खासा काम हुआ है। मैं उनसे ये उम्मीद करता हूँ कि यहाँ पे यूनिवर्सिटी लगाएं, उद्योग लगाएं। यहाँ बेरोजगारी भत्ता से काम नहीं चलेगा, यहाँ युवाओं को रोजगार चाहिए, क्योंकि यहाँ के युवा बाहर जाते हैं, मुंबई जाते हैं, सऊदी जाते हैं, दुबई जाते हैं, मस्कत जाते हैं, मलेशिया जाते हैं। तो यहाँ के युवा यहीं रह करके अपने श्रम शक्ति से अपना जॉब आसानी से पा सके।
अपना आप नाम बताइए।
ये मैं फरहान शेख, बीकॉम फर्स्ट ईयर में।
फरहान शेख, आप बताइए कि जो अलग अलग पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के नेता अपने चुनाव प्रचार में बोल रहे हैं, किस हद तक वो आपको प्रभावित करते हैं?
जी, वो तो बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं अपने प्रचार चुनाव में, लेकिन वो ऐसा करते नहीं है। बहुत सी पार्टियां आई लेकिन उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया। हमें हमारा आइकॉन, यूथ आइकॉन मिल गया है, हमने डिसाइड कर लिया हमें किसे वोट देना है और कौन सही हमारे लिए।
लेकिन जो राष्ट्रीय उलेमा काउंसिल है
जी।
आजमगढ़ में, कल हमारी उनके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष से बात हुई,
जी।
उन्होंने बहुजन समाज पार्टी को समर्थन दे दिया है।
जी, तो मैं अगर ये मेरे मौलाना कहें आप इनको जो हमें सही लगेगा हम उसी को वोट देंगे।
All right, Shyam.
मेरे दाएं तरफ भी जो लोग हैं, आप बताइए, आप अपना नाम मुझे बता दीजिए।
मोहम्मद जीशान।
मोहम्मद ईशान, आपके लिए क्या क्या इश्यूज हैं?
देखिए, ये नरेंद्र मोदी जो हमारे पीएम हैं, लोग कहते हैं कि ये मुखिया हैं। ये घर का कोई मुखिया रहता है तो अपने बच्चे के बारे में सोचता है। कम से कम क्या नजीब उनका बच्चा नहीं था? क्या इंडिया से बाहर के पीएम है वो?
Right.
क्या वो आए
Shyam,
में
of course, the
कहीं भी आए,
development.
वो आके डायरेक्ट कहते हैं शमशान बनाइए, गांव में कब्रिस्तान होना चाहिए तो शमशान होना चाहिए।
All right. Of course, the development issues like unemployment, development, that seems to be the key focus, as well as the youth of Azamgarh are concerned. Shyam, now speaking about Eastern Uttar Pradesh in general, and this place is a special significance, especially for the BJP, because it includes traditional bastions like Gorakhpur and Varanasi, of course. And BJP here banking on Prime Minister Modi's star power to sweep the 8 assembly seats in Varanasi here.
Well, as far as Varanasi and Gorakhpur is concerned, big leaders from BJP and cabinet ministers, they are camping in Varanasi and Gorakhpur both. If you talk about Gorakhpur, Yogi Adityanath is there. He is a member of parliament from there, and few people say that he can be a potential chief ministerial candidate in Uttar Pradesh for Bharatiya Janata Party. So he has that kind of influence in Gorakhpur. But of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the face for Bharatiya Janata Party in this assembly election, not only in Varanasi and Gorakhpur, but in UP, whole of UP. But of course, Varanasi is his own constituency, and it is a matter of prestige for Bharatiya Janata Party to win election there. That's why the battery of leaders is camping in Varanasi.
Right, absolutely. So it's a matter of prestige as far as Varanasi is concerned, but in general, all the political parties have really thrown in their might because of just 2 more phases of elections are left. Thank you so much, Shyam, for joining us this afternoon and sharing those issues with us. And ahead of the 6th phase of polling for the Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections on 4th of March, now political bigwigs had a busy day on Tuesday in the state, while Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav once again attacked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his fractured mandate remark, while BSP Chief Mayawati and Home Minister Rajnath Singh also held various rallies in the poll-bound state. Here is a report.
Campaigning for the remaining 2 phases of elections in Uttar Pradesh, several political parties held poll rallies in the state. Addressing a political meeting at his father Mulayam Singh's constituency Azamgarh, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav targeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his fractured mandate remark. He said those talking about getting 300 of the 403 seats were now settling for a coalition government.
पहले तो प्रधानमंत्री जी उनकी पार्टी के लोग कहते थे कि 300 सीटें जीत करके आ रहे हैं। पता नहीं मऊ आते आते तक कहने लगे कि गठबंधन की सरकार बनने जा रही है। और अभी आजमगढ़ शायद नहीं आए हैं, और आजमगढ़ इसलिए नहीं आए कि वो जानते हैं 10 की 10 सीटें साइकिल के संग जाने वाली हैं।
BSP Chief Mayawati addressed 2 rallies in Ghazipur and Mhow districts. In Mhow, she alleged that the ruling BJP at the centre wanted to end reservation in government jobs. She also urged voters, especially women, to vote in large numbers for the BSP.
कि केंद्र की सरकार ने अपने लोकसभा चुनावी वायदों का अब तक लगभग 1/4 हिस्सा भी कार्य पूरा नहीं किया है, और जिन पर से जनता का ध्यान बांटने के लिए अब तक इन्होंने किस्म किस्म की नाटकबाजी भी खूब की है, जो आप लोगों से छिपी हुई नहीं है।
Addressing an election rally at Mhow, Home Minister Rajnath Singh expressed confidence of a BJP majority in the assembly. He also blamed to the Congress, the SP and the BSP for the backwardness in the state.
आप लोगों ने यहाँ पर समाजवादी पार्टी और बहुजन समाज पार्टी की सरकारों को पिछले 15 वर्षों में लगातार काम करते हुए देखा। मैं आप सबसे जानना चाहता हूं, ये लोग दावा करते हैं कि हम लोगों ने उत्तर प्रदेश का विकास किया, बहनों भाइयों, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, क्या इन लोगों ने उत्तर प्रदेश का विकास किया है? शायद इन 15 वर्षों में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार रही होती तो मैं दावे के साथ कह सकता हूं, उत्तर प्रदेश का एक गांव भी शेष न बचा होता जिसे पक्की सड़कों से न जोड़ दिया गया होता।
Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And in the joint roadshow of Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav in Varanasi will now be held on 4th of March after it was postponed twice. Now 4th of March is when the 6th phase of voting takes place in the state. Now Varanasi, which is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Lok Sabha constituency, votes in the 7th and the final phase of polling on 8th of March. While the date of the rally has been finalized, the route is yet to be decided. While the joint roadshow first planned for 11th of February had been postponed in view of a large number of pilgrims visiting the temple town on the occasion of Ravidas Jayanti. Well, the roadshow was then scheduled for 27th of February, which too had to be postponed due to some unavoidable reasons. On 4th of March, before heading for the joint roadshow, Yadav will individually address some public meetings in support of the SP candidates in the eastern Uttar Pradesh districts. And the BJP has asked the Election Commission to order a probe into what it alleged was an unauthorized deletion of valid votes from electoral rolls in the ongoing Uttar Pradesh Assembly polls. Well, a party delegation headed by Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi submitted a memorandum to the Election Commission and urged it to ensure that all the voters with valid electoral photo identity cards were allowed to vote in the next and the last two phases of the elections. Well, the BJP also urged the Election Commission to fix the responsibility and prosecute those who are responsible for the error. And acting on the Supreme Court's order, now the Uttar Pradesh police searched the official residence of UP Cabinet Minister Gayatri Prasad Prajapati, who is facing probe for his alleged role in a rape case. While he could not be found there, now the teams were sent to Amethi to track him. Well, Amethi, remember, is his assembly constituency where he was seen moving freely to seek votes. He had also attended a public meeting with the SP chief Akhilesh Yadav campaigning for the party candidates, but he had left the stage before the chief minister arrived and he sat among the audience. Now, Prajapati is facing imminent arrest following an FIR lodged against him and 6 of his accomplices on the Apex Court's order on 18th of February under various sections of the Indian Penal Code as well as POSCO Act. And in Verdict 2017, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the news and updates from Manipur.
Faceless BJP and overexposure of Prime Minister in Uttar Pradesh. Do you believe BJP is again taking that kind of a risk?
The overexposure of the Prime Minister is not necessarily something which the BJP should regret.
This round of elections probably is going to be a referendum on Modi government's demonetization.
In the electoral rhetoric, demonetization is gradually fading into the background.
Prime Minister Modi, are we going to see him as a pro-Muslim man?
You will not see him say that I am pro-Muslim.
Watch To The Point with author, commentator and Rajya Sabha MP Swatan Das Gupta only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Ghata, one of the oldest and most unique percussion instruments of southern India. You can play it not only with your fingers, but palms, wrists and heels as well. You'll be surprised, but the air inside the ghatam reverberates, creating the musical notes. 5 elements of nature, earth, water, air, fire and space make up the composition of this beautiful musical piece, which has found an apt place in most of the ancient books.
Welcome back in our news from poll-bound Manipur, and with less than a week left for the two-phase assembly polls in the state, now electioneering in the economic blockade-hit state is gradually now picking steam. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi addressed his first poll rally in Imphal on Tuesday, while BJP President Amit Shah also held 2 election rallies. Well, Shah reached the tribal-dominated Southern Hills districts to push forward his party's campaign in the state.
With campaigning for the two-phased assembly polls in Manipur gaining momentum, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi addressed his first rally in the state. Addressing a crowd in Imphal, Rahul attacked PM Modi to reveal the contents of the Naga Accord to the people of the state. He said till date no one knows what is in this prepaid accord. The Congress leader also attacked Modi over Sahara and Birla dairy cases.
मणिपुर के चीफ मिनिस्टर को नागा अकॉर्ड के बारे में कुछ नहीं मालूम। अजीब सी बात। मैंने कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट सोनिया जी को कहा नहीं, ये बोबी जी को नहीं मालूम। फिर हमने कहा कि देखो सरकार में पूछते हैं किसी से। हमने नरेंद्र मोदी जी के मंत्रियों से पूछा, पता लगा उनको भी नहीं मालूम।
Rahul also highlighted the developmental schemes led by the Ibobi Singh government. He said that only Congress government can fulfill the people's dreams in the state.
मैं चाहता हूं कि ऐसा दिन आए कि इबोबी जी अमेरिका जाएं, अमेरिका में वो एक शॉल खरीदें और शॉल पे लिखा हो मेड इन मणिपुर। इस काम को करने के लिए जो हैंडीक्राफ्ट का काम करते हैं उनको सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा। जैसे मोदी जी ने सड़कें बनाई उस प्रकार से उनके लिए सड़कें बनानी पड़ेंगी।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi raised direct question against Prime Minister Narendra Modi and he accused him of not fulfilling the promises made to Manipur. Rahul Gandhi assured the people of Manipur that no one can touch the geographical integrity of their state.
BJP President Amit Shah was also in Imphal where he held a rally. While speaking to the people, Shah alleged that the Ibobi Singh-led Congress government in the state was corrupt. He said that the Manipur Chief Minister has only inaugurated half-made projects and has also misused central funds. However, he asserted that the Manipur has the potential to become a model state.
स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं, हेल्थ के लिए जो सेवाएं चाहिए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए, अगर वो मणिपुर में उपलब्ध नहीं है, रोड बने नहीं है, मणिपुर के अंदर बेरोजगारी है और मणिपुर के अंदर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की स्थिति ठीक नहीं है, तो इसके लिए केवल और केवल इबोबी सिंह की एक कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार जिम्मेदार है।
For the first time, the Ibobi Singh-led Congress party faces a stiff electoral challenge from its arch-rival BJP in the assembly elections that are set for March 4th and March 8th. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
All right, Akhilesh Suman is now joining us live from Imphal. Akhilesh, now electioneering really picking up in Manipur. We saw Rahul Gandhi there and also Amit Shah was there here yesterday. But BJP, of course, it's fancying its charges riding on the anti-incumbency wave if it is there. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, it is not as simple as anti-incumbency here. The number of factors, other factors that have actually complicated the situation in Manipur.
Right, Aswarya, there are so many issues and you will see that Manipur will have very vibrant election this time because there are so many issues. The issues of development that is prevalent all over the country. If you go to any state, they will ask for sadak, bijli and pani. But here in Manipur, other than that, there is a major issue of integrity of Manipur. That is an emotive issue. And it is quite surprising that this time, Congress is raising this emotive issue that we cannot allow anyone to disintegrate Manipur.
Yes.
So where it is coming from, they are telling that it is coming from the Naga people. So you can see that issues in this election are one of the emotional thing and another of the economic thing. And as far as I will show you the visuals. This is the rally of Irom Sharmila, which is going from one place to another place, one mohalla to another place. The Praja Party, the Irom Sharmila, who was sitting on dharna hunger strike for 16 years, now she is fighting election this time and she has become a moral force in this Manipur election. Though she has put only three candidates for this election, but her voice is resonating everywhere in this state. One is Assam Armed Forces Special Power Act and another she is telling that Congress Congress and BJP cannot understand the problems of Manipur, and that is why there is so much of goof-up. The lack of development is very visible in Manipur, and they are also raising this issue. And other than Aram Sharmila, there are so many smaller parties that has come together to create a left democratic front. And this left democratic front is also fighting with NPP, you may remember PS Sangma's party. So, and Naga People's Front. Now, very interesting factor has come out that UNC, United Naga Council, that has announced economic blockade in the state. It has declared yesterday, and I talked to its General Secretary Milan Simre. He told me that we are going to participate in the election in a way that we will support Naga People's Front. So they are not going to block the voters from going to the polling booth and casting their vote. So the question, people were raising questions that whether Manipur election will be held, whether there will be violence. There is no scope of much disturbance in the state, and whatever is happening, this is a very normal situation. But this time Manipur is going to a testing time when BJP is talking of development, Congress is talking of emotional issues like integration of Manipur, and Aram Sharmila and other left parties are telling that these national parties are not capable to rule Manipur because they don't understand the state problem and the state issues. Aishwarya.
Absolutely. You mentioned that how this territorial integrity of Manipur has become such a major emotive issue in the state, but why the centre has given assurance. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi mentioned in one of his rallies here that the agreement would not really infringe upon the state's integrity. But are the voters really assured by this verbal assurance?
Yeah, I'm telling you a very interesting thing. In today's newspaper, Congress party has come out with an advertisement that what we know that NSCN people are fighting election on BJP ticket. So Congress is trying to show the people that whatever BJP is assuring, whatever Prime Minister is assuring you, the only thing that BJP and Prime Minister is in hand and glove with NSCN IM, the Naga outfit that was indulged in violence for more than a decade. So they are trying to see that it is Naga community, Naga outfits who are against the integration of Manipur, and BJP is trying to go in connivance with them. And yesterday, when BJP President Amit Shah was speaking to us, he told, when we asked that Prime Minister is telling that we will assure that there is no economic blockade after BJP comes to power. People asked, we asked that, how it is possible? Are you declaring that it is in your hand? So he said, no, we will take action after we come into power within 24 hours and we will remove the blockade. So he is trying to show that once we come into power, we will not behave like Congress, because Congress, law and order is the state subject, and Congress is not doing its duty in fulfilling the state responsibility of creating a situation when blockade is removed by the state police, and also with assistance from the central police, because BJP is claiming that we have given enough central paramilitary forces, but the state is not using in any way, so economic blockade is persisting. So, everyone is putting their own logic, and people are judging themselves. You will see that people are talking, and it is not only the BJP and Congress. Many independents are also in fray. They are raising the local issues. They are also popular in their vote and their constituencies. They have been denied ticket from one party or another party, but they have a stronghold. They are raising issues. So it is going to be very interesting election in Manipur, and it is vibrant. And in a way, you can see that it is undergoing most healthiest situation in this state in this election 2017.
Absolutely. So number of other factors besides anti-incumbency really reflecting as far as the politics of Manipur is concerned. Of course, Congress has been in power in the state for the past 15 years, and BJP looking to dethrone the Congress party, but it is more than anti-incumbency that is playing on the minds of the people in Manipur. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for bringing us that comprehensive review of what is happening in Manipur there. Meanwhile, PRJA party mascot Aram Sharmila is slowly recovering from her 16-year-long hunger strike, and with the elections just around the corner, she is now working hard to reach out to the voters and voice her agenda as a new politician. Well, Akhilesh Suman spoke to Aram Sharmila about her plans and what she sees in the future for herself and her party.
Mainly the focus will be on repeal of ABSPA. and as well as bringing right to justice to all and economically independent.
Assembly election is for overall development and control and administration of the states. So why only AFSPA you want to put as your agenda?
As for me, I want to focus on AFSPA repeal the draconian law in a democratic country.
Election requires lots of money and resources. Do you think that you can manage all those things?
If we want to come to see real democracy in the society, we really want to depend on people's support.
And the economic blockade has cast a shadow on the upcoming polls in Manipur. Now, watching developments closely is the majority Meitei community, who feels that it should really have been consulted before the state government's decision to create the new 7 districts. Well, here is an RSTV's ground report. This is Pheng, inhabited by Meitei. Earlier a part of Imphal West, it is now part of the newly formed Kangpokpi district, and all are not happy with that decision.
ये कांगपोकपी में जाने तो हम लोग को बहुत नुकसान होगा, मतलब वो तो दूर है, इम्फाल वेस्ट तो ये नज़दीक है, सामने सामने है, लेकिन हम लोग ये जगह को हम लोग पहले 1932 में हम लोग का दरबार में हम लोग को दिया है, देने के बाद में हम लोग को करके हम लोग अभी रिजर्व करके हम लोग अभी भी कंट्रोल कर रहा है, कंट्रोल करने के बाद में वो लोग अभी बोला है, वो लोग कांगपोकपी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जाने तो हम लोग का बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है.
I do feel that it is not only among the Nagas, it is even among other communities, you know. If it is really meant for administrative convenience, then let's do it properly, taking into account of the interests and rights of the ethnic communities.
Meiteis are the majority ethnic group of Manipur, accounting to over 60% of the state's total population, but inhabiting just over 30% of the land. Pheng being accommodated to Kangpokpi district is one of the few tales of discontent being heard across many Meitei villages.
From this particular village to Imphal is around 11-12 kilometers. Then you see now this village is under Kangpokpi district. The villages to get a signature of the SDC or any DC or somebody, they have to go to Imphal first, then from Imphal they will go another 45 kilometers. That will come around 60 kilometers, you know. So if it is for administrative convenience, why they have to go 65 kilometers?
By Buddha 1932 da Darbar na koi piramba koi lam area mayam asi yaw krabadi koi district pidabu kang shamak shibu gidana koi thing na kini.
The Manipur government had in December 2016 issued a notification to create 7 new districts by bifurcating the existing ones, taking the total number of districts to 16. While the Nagas are protesting in the form of the economic blockade which has strangled the state, the Meiteis have been less vocal. But it would be wrong to presume this would not affect their votes for the current Ibobi government.
We are totally against any kind of division based on ethnic lines. So like right now, as I've already told you, there must be an agenda which must be acceptable by every stakeholder in the state.
Every community in Manipur is divided on this issue. It will be interesting to see that what is the number of those who are happy with this decision of division or who are unhappy with the decision. This will decide the future of which party makes the government in the coming assembly elections. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sudhanshu in a village near Imphal.
Well, that's all in this edition of our election special bulletin, Verdict 2017. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Thanks for watching.